definitely not a lightsaber. It might be, it's not a lightsaber. Let's just say that. It is time to wind it up. This is episode 2 of the Precursor Cast. Well, all right, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of the Precursor Podcast. We made it. We made it all the way to episode 2, which I'm pretty impressed with. All the naysayers said we couldn't do it, but we did. Here we are. My name is Boom, and I am joined by my 2 wonderful co-hosts, Tess and Militus. How are you guys?
Hey! That wasn't very attractive at all.
You gave us...
I'm doing fantastic. I have to say, Tess, I got compliments about you and I on the last podcast.
Oh, you did?
Fantastic.
People liked our dancing. They loved our dancing. So we got to keep it up. We got to make it a thing. And maybe we can actually coax Boom into dancing with us.
I actually think we should make an animated GIF of that because it was really epic. It was reason to watch the video over watching or listening to the stream. It was really, really top notch for sure. Well, last week we started off by talking about what the podcast is all about. This week, we're going to kick it off with a trivia game. We are going to do a brand new, it's a newbie trivia. So this should be a piece of cake.
I'm gonna suck.
And listeners, we have tried this stupid game 14 million times, and we've never gotten it to work.
Right.
Let's see if Boom can get it to work.
So if you're a listener and you want to play along, what you can do is you can go to pc.kindofabigdealgaming.com. pc.kindofabigdealgaming.com, and at the bottom of the homepage, kind of just a little ways down, there's the actual thing we're going to do right now. You can actually go on there and you can do it. And it's not time sensitive. So if you're listening to this on a Wednesday, I encourage you still to go and take the quiz and see how you do compared to everybody else. So what we're going to do here, though, is Tess and Militus are going to take this particular quiz live. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So what we're going to do is I have up Kahoot. And Kahoot is my favorite toy for giving little quizzes like this. So you guys are going to go to kahoot.it and you're going to put in this code that's going to pop up on the screen, and we are going to roll out the first ever newbie Guild Wars 2 quiz. Now you should know all these answers, by the way, so it shouldn't be hard.
AK
457-348. Tess is in the room. She is ready to go on this, so we have one person down.
Come on, Miller.
All right, here we go.
Should be there.
There we go. So if you want to play along again, you're going to go to pc.kindofabigdealgaming.com. You're going to scroll down about halfway, and you're going to see the little quiz. Click on it and go ahead and take it. Our 2 contestants today are going to take it right here live online. Okay, so here we go. Are you guys ready?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm
You should get
nervous.
100% on this. This should be no problem. These are basic questions. Here we go.
I'm so bad at this,
Now,
though.
by the way Kahoot works is you get a better score for the faster answer you submit. So the quicker you submit your answer. All right. I just got to try to be able to read it. So if you guys can give me that ability, I just want to read the question before you guys snap the answer off.
No, I'm snapping to answer.
Oh gosh. Okay.
If you can't tell me that it's time sensitive and tell me to wait.
All right.
It's not gonna work.
Hyper competitive Tess. By the way, you want her on your PvP team. So if you're playing PvP, Tess is the one you want on there because she doesn't lose. Okay, here we go. First question. 10 questions in the quiz. First question is, what is the name of the Guild Wars 2 world where Guild Wars 2 takes place? Pretty easy. What is the name of the world where Guild Wars 2 takes place? All right, there you go. You both got it right. It is Tyria. You guys nailed it.
Nice.
Okay, so we'll see who's in the lead. Now, this is the beautiful part.
That was a total guess.
Okay.
Let me just say, that was a total guess because all I saw was, okay, go ahead. Go
okay.
for it.
Did you not see the... You can't see him?
I just picked circle because it looked great.
No, you can't see the...
No, I have to look at the stream. I'm good.
It's in. You got to look in your Skype. Okay, here we go. All right. So next question. By the way, Tess is in the lead, 940 to 862. Okay, here we go. How many races are in Guild Wars 2? Question 2. How many races are in Guild Wars 2? You got 4, 6, 5, and 8. Look at you guys go. You guys both answered right away. 5. 5 was the correct answer. You guys are on fire. All right, here we go. Tess is... Oh, Militus was first on that one. You gained some ground.
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. Next question. Humans were the first race to arrive on Tyria. This is a true false. Humans are the first race to arrive on Tyria. That is false for sure. The Char were way ahead of them. There were other things going on in the world before that even. So that was, in fact, false. Now let's see the score. Tess is in the lead by a good 100 points. This is getting tight. Okay, here we go.
This is so stressful. This reminds me of taking times test in like 4th grade. This is very
This is a serious quiz. I'm not farting around when I make these quizzes. All right, here we go. Next question. How many professions are in the game? How many professions are in the game?
I'm guessing. Oh shoot.
Oh.
Yes, the answer for whatever reason, by the way. This isn't fair. It says 7, 7, 9, and 11. I don't know why it says that because it's actually 5 and it's 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 9. So you guys both got it wrong.
We
Sorry, it's 9. But it says 7, 7. It should have said 5, 7. So that was kind of funny.
Yeah, that would have been... I was not paying attention.
It's just chalk it up to another one of my fails. Okay, there we go. So Tess is still in the lead by 100 points. Here's the next question. If you list and successfully sell an item on the trading post, what percentage will be the fee? If you list and successfully sell an item on the trading post, what percentage will be the fee? You guys locked in your answers?
I got that wrong.
15% is actually the correct answer. So
and I play it a lot.
That's a lot of money. They take
shows you how much old Milla sells stuff.
They take
and I sell a lot of stuff, but I just don't pay attention.
They take it in 2 parts, so they get you coming and going. By the way, for that, so
they do.
So it's very expensive to sell stuff on the trading post. All right, here we go. So Tess is still in the lead by 100 points, but we haven't gained any ground in a couple questions. All right. On your skill bar, slot 6 is used for...
This one. Where is it? Where is it? Are they questions?
Where is it?
There you go. The correct answer, healing skill. Slot 6 is the healing skill. There we go. Let's see what we've got going. Tess is still in the lead by like 100 points. All right, here we go. How many die colors are available in the game? How many die colors are available in the game? 256.
Oh, I was wrong.
763, 1327, or 485.
No, you got it right.
The correct answer was correct answer was 485. The correct answer was 485.
Oh, I am so in second place. I'm 700 points behind you now, Noah.
Let's see how it is. Man. Look at Milla on top of the chart. Okay, here we go. Next question. Which Elder Dragon's Spear of Influence is fire? Which Elder Dragon's Spear of Influence is fire? Choices are Jormag, Zaitan, Primordius. We locked in our answers. The correct answer was, in fact, Primordius. Yes. Was, in fact, Primordius. Did you get that right, Tess?
Yeah, no. I did.
All right. Let's see where we're at now. Tess is in the lead again by over 100 points. And we're coming into the final questions here.
Okay,
all right, here we go. Question 9 of 10. Major traits have which shaped icon? Major traits have which shaped icon? Hexagonal or square? Hexagonal or square? They have square icons. They have square icons. Did you guys both miss?
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
It all comes down to this last question.
Epic fail. All
right, here we go. Last and final question.
For the win.
I'm going to lose.
Racial traits are a part of Guild Wars 2. True or false? Racial traits are a part of Guild Wars 2. True or false? There we go. The correct answer was false. There are no racial traits in Guild Wars 2. That's another game that we don't talk about. And let's see who the winner is. In the first ever trivia jam that we've ever had. I should have given that a fancy name. Like Trivia Jam Off. Okay, here we go. Tess won the game by a couple hundred points. Tess had 5,635 points to Milla's 5,438. Hooray! Good job, guys. I don't have any clapping or cheering. I should have had clapping and cheering noises going, but
That's okay.
That was
Sir,
good.
It was an excellent game.
That was an excellent version of that. Now I wanted to just check
Can't
because
believe it worked.
It was fantastic.
Yes, it's a success. Way to go, Boom.
Now I wanted to see how our group did here, because I did post this on the website. And let me see here. So we had, okay, here it's loading there. We had 91 people take this quiz.
What? Wow.
Yeah, we had 91 today take the quiz. Let me see. I wanted to see if I could find.
They all kicked Militus's ass. Let me make that prediction.
Yeah. Well, no, I want to see how many did what. I want to see what the actual results of this were. So hold on, I'm pulling it up. It's taking longer, so I'm killing time. Okay.
Oh no, we'll get to.
All right, here we go. So only 9 people out of that 91 did get a 90 to 100%. So only 9 people were able to do that.
We got 90%.
Did you get 90%?
We each missed one question.
You just missed one?
I think we each missed 2, didn't we?
I think you guys missed a couple.
Yeah,
we missed the trait one.
Seems like there was a dry spell in there. I'm not going to lie. All right. And then we had 14 people get 80 to 89% right. 18 people 70 to 79% right. 60 to 69% was 16 people. 7 people got 50 to 59%. And then 11 people, amazingly enough, got 0 to 49%. Those are our happy.
Does it tell you what the average score was?
It does not. It does not tell me what the average score was, but I can tell you that if you're in the bottom half, you're truly a noob. You belong on this podcast, which is a lot of these listeners. So that's fantastic. So welcome to the Precursor Podcast. We love having you. All right, let's go ahead and move on. We're going to move on to our next little bit of information, which is going to be where Tess is going to tell them how they can contact us.
Oh, crap. I'm on. Okay. I'm going to do that every single time.
I love it.
In order to contact us, you can visit our website at pc.kindofabigdealgaming.com. You can call us at area code 720-625-1337. That's Boom's favorite. Did you check it today? Did anybody call?
No, I didn't check it today. 625-LEET. 625-LEET. I should have actually checked it.
625-LEET.
I know it's actually funny. I can remember that number though. I'm like, in my head today, I was like doing little jingles. I was like 702-625-LEET.
No, you have to do 702-625-1337 or something like that.
Wow.
LEET. There you go.
She's
I know.
too good.
She is good. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Okay.
Gmail.
No, it's cute. You can tweet us at
tweet.
PrecursorCast.
Please do. We need more audience participation. We had great listenership, but we need you to participate to make this show great. Like take the quizzes, do all the fun stuff that we do. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
We're going to probably have a contest at some point within the next
you know what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be giving away some Guild Wars 2 stuff. Mm-hmm. So I know that's happening. So
maybe an outfit here and there.
Who knows?
See what happens.
We'll see how that goes.
You can email us at precursorpodcast@gmail.com. You can watch us on Twitch every Wednesday at 10 Eastern, www.twitch.tv/precursorcast. And you can visit us on our Facebook where we link everything. And it's www.facebook.com/precursorpodcast.
Right.
And we're on iTunes.
We are now on iTunes. That took a little bit of last week, but we got on iTunes. So if you're an iTunes listener, you can go ahead and subscribe there. And today I worked on getting us onto Microsoft's podcast thing, which is actually...
They have a podcast?
Yes, they do.
That's
and
news?
It's weird because it used to be part of Zune. Do you guys remember the Zune? It was part of Zune.
Yes.
And that they've kind of tweaked it from Zune. But how you get on that service, by the way, is crazy weird. Like I had to submit all kinds of weird, funky stuff. But it was like I was signing my website up to Bing. You know how like they like to have everything on Bing?
Yeah.
So it was really difficult. But I got it on there, and I don't know. I expect it to... I'm hoping, anyway, it shows up in the Microsoft thing. For all of us, because I'm getting the new Microsoft phone. Did I tell you guys?
No.
I am.
What?
on Friday,
Really?
I'm trading in my iPhone, and I'm going
You're
for the
gonna have serious
Microsoft
withdrawals.
phone. I'm going to do it for 1 year. Now, here's the really cool thing about this idea, by the way, and I'm sorry I'm getting divergent off of gaming, but what I'm doing, so the new Microsoft phone plugs into a monitor, so I have a full version of Windows that runs on a monitor, an external monitor. So I just take the phone and I plug it right in, and then I have Windows up on a monitor. So I am going to do. I'm working on a educational doctorate program, and I'm going to take it on my phone, and I'm going to blog about it. But I'm going to do the program on my cell phone. What do you guys think? Power of technology. I think
I better write your letter of recommendation, or else you're never going to get in.
Yeah. I got news for you. I had to take you off and put somebody else on.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, I'm
but
so sorry.
It's all good. I'm in. So, well, I'm not.
Oh, you're in?
I'm not in yet, but I've got everything in. We're almost there. We're on the home stretch. All right. So you know how that stuff works. So it's going to be fun. So I'll be able to listen to the podcast on my own phone of choice. So
there you go.
That's the whole purpose.
Nice. All right.
There you
so
go.
It
what's
works out
next?
for you, Boom.
It is time for.
What?
Wait, hold on.
Come on.
I'm gonna keep
I'm
trying
waiting
this.
for it.
Okay, wait. Okay, it is time for the moment of Zen. That's right. It's time for the moment of Zen. It only took me a few times to get it to work. There's so many buttons, by the way, when you run a podcast. Did I ever mention that to you? There's so many buttons. It's a little overwhelming. If you guys saw what I was doing right here, you guys would be like, what are you thinking? It's crazy. But everybody should run a podcast once. It's really a lot of fun. All right.
You guys are crazy.
It's time for the moment of Zen. Tess, what is your first moment of Zen this week? What was your gaming moment of Zen?
Tess, tell us about your moment of Zen.
I'm going to defer my big moment of Zen for later because I did raid.
Was it when you faked running raids?
No, that was later. I did run a raid, and then I faked running a raid with Milla.
I kind of...
And that was hilarious. So
here's the thing. You want me to believe that you faked it after you told me that you really did it.
I did. I said, okay. So I really ran the
I'm not buying
the first raid. And but then later, last night was our PrecursorCast guild raiding or running night. So we were running around.
Right.
And Boomy had to move, so he had to miss it. And we were all sad.
Now, I wasn't personally moving. I was moving a neighbor, by the way. Don't sell me short.
He was doing someone a favor.
I was being a good Samaritan.
And so finally he texts me and he says, I'm on my way. And it was me and Milla and our buddy Mo. And we're like, let's say we're raiding when he jumps into TeamSpeak. Just start talking raiding. And so he does. That's what we do. He jumps in and he's like, "What are you guys doing?" And I'm like, "So guys, you want to go to do the last boss, or do you just want to call it for the night?"
Like you said, the last boss too. You're like, we've already cleared everything.
We've cleared the other two. We're all good. And they're like, well, we could try. Well, let's give it a one shot. And we just kept going on and on. And Boom was like, are you guys really? Are you raiding right now? And we're like, oh yeah, we got a really good pug.
It was that very moment that I bought it.
And he's getting angrier and angrier and angrier. And finally, I just couldn't hold on anymore. Milla did such a great job. He's like, yeah, we're. So should I?
Tess just says, yeah. Milla just got a precursor drop. Yeah, he just got his precursor weapon for his legendary. I'm like, yeah. I'll be making kudzu before you know it.
Boom's like, what?
Boom's like, what?
It was actually that very moment that I did believe you. So when you said, so I was like, you were like, we're raiding, and I was like, you're raiding. And then you go, we got a great pug. And I was like, crap. Because there are really great people in this game. And I was like, there's a possibility that they got this like really great group of 6 other people that was like, hey, let's go kill this first boss. Now, I wasn't thinking that you got through a bunch of bosses, but that first boss, I was kind of like, well, did they get it? Now, the only weird thing about this whole story, though, is that Mo, who was joining us that night, just got the expansion. So he didn't have anything even unlocked.
He didn't even have his gliding unlocked.
I explained it. I was like, luckily you can do the first boss without gliding. You don't need your gliding for the first boss, which you don't. You need it later, but you don't need it for the first one.
You had me so suckered in to.
And I was like,
believe
yeah,
in it.
raiding is hard. That's why we're not raiding. And I just like laid it out.
I was kind of crushed. I was actually kind of sitting here just going, crap. And that's what's funny is that was like a moment of zen for me to realize that I actually might want to really raid, because I took it kind of hard that I wasn't with you guys. So that kind of told me that secretively maybe I do want to raid. So
there you go. That's my moment of bleh.
That was your moment of
what?
Militus, how about you? You had to have a way better moment of zen than teasing poor old Boom for his.
Well, mine's kind of simple, actually.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
moment of zen, it's not that big of a deal. Well, actually, I got 2 moments. Can I do 2 moments of zen?
You can do whatever you want.
Okay.
Hold on, I got to
My
play
first
it twice.
moment of zen was last night in that double
There you go. I had to do a double. Okay, there you go. Okay.
double zen. So last night I jump on early and I'm playing around with Tess. We're running around doing different stuff, and I unlock my updrafts. Now, if you heard me in the first cast, you might have heard me be a little reluctant to go into Verdant Brink, and I've been going back to the old world. And that's because I just had gliding, and I didn't realize how much more fun that Maguma is whenever you have updraft, because you can just constantly stay up. You can just float. You can just fly from one updraft to the next, to the next, to the next.
Isn't that
if you're
great?
skillful.
Do you
By the
have
way.
your bouncy mushrooms?
I do.
Okay.
I have bouncy mushrooms, and I don't have the speed mushroom yet, but I have the bouncy mushrooms, gliding, and updraft. And those 3 things, those 3 masteries are just so critical, in my opinion, to really fully enjoying the expansion. At least, the part of it I've been in so far.
They're also
So
a
that's
great
my
part of the
first
game,
moment
though,
of
don't you
Zen.
think?
It was a lot of fun. And kind of the package of that, guess what I did, Boom?
What's that?
I found before Tess a hero point and a mastery point.
He's like, I just found a hero point and a master point. And I'm like, but what? And he's like, follow me. And I spent it was the waterfall. Do you remember the waterfall, Boom? It was a waterfall all over again.
The one
It
that
was
I
like the
took you
waterfall
to?
in Dry Top.
Where you
Remember
had
the waterfall
where
in
you
Dry
followed
Top?
me.
Yeah.
The other day?
Where we just failed over and over and over. That was me trying to get to this little spot and make the jump, and I just failed. And Militus, as usual, was so patient and
It was fun.
kind, and was like, try this time. And finally I got it. And so I got, thanks to that, I got my 100% Verdant Brink.
Oh, that's so
completion.
awesome. And you got some sweet loot out of that too.
I did.
Yes.
I did. I got part of my dragon hunter, my legendary dragon hunter bow collection.
That's cool.
I'm doing it.
That's very cool. And then my second moment is in, just be real quickly, is I log into the game today because, as I was telling you earlier, Boom, us adults that have wives and kids and stuff, we have to jump in the game when we have, just a few moments to spare. So I jump in the game for maybe 5 minutes. Okay. I'm running around old world Tyria, and I get this tell, and it's from a listener. And the listener's like, hey, I don't mean to be a creeper, but I listened to the podcast and I really like it. And I said, oh man, thanks. That's great. And so I'm chatting maybe 2 minutes, and I hear the garage door open on my house. And I know what that means. Wife and children are now home.
Yes.
Game time's over.
You're off duty. You're off
So I
duty.
said, I gotta go. I'm on dad duty.
Yes,
I'll talk to you
yes.
later. And I left and didn't catch their name.
Did you get him into the guild?
No. I don't know that they even wanted to join the guild. They were just telling me how they liked the show. So
Oh,
listener
that's a
who
bummer.
said to me, hey, Militus,
Yes.
I don't mean to be a creepy person. Hi. Send me another tell so I can add you to my friends list. Because that
Yeah,
was
there
really
we
cool.
go. We'd like
And,
to,
and all of our information is on our Facebook, so you can send us tells. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really fantastic, and that's too bad that you had to go, but I totally relate. Like I'd be
Not
like,
me. I don't have any kids.
I'd be like, shut her down, and I'd be like, yeah. It's just one of those situations where you got to go when you got to go. That's all.
You do.
That's all that I'm saying.
we should rename the podcast to Two Dads and Tess.
Don't you think though?
2 dads, one test.
two dads and a Tess.
Oh, that sounds bad.
Don't you?
So bad.
Don't you think, Militus, though, that those 3 things that you mentioned are really, really cool game mechanics?
Yeah, I agree.
Like they're just fun.
I mean-
They're fun to do. That's why you enjoy having them. That's why they're so integral to the game, is because they're actually, I mean, the levels, yes, they're designed for it, and I get all that. But the fact of the matter is flying, like in another game that we played, is fine, but something about gliding feels more like a game mechanic to me.
Yeah.
So I like the
Flying
gliding.
trivializes.
Yeah.
Gliding enhances.
Gliding
That's
made it
my
right.
experience.
I
It
agree.
enhances the content. Well,
Right.
you got to remember too, without verticality in the design of the game, it wouldn't enhance it like it does.
It wouldn't be anything, which is why, there's a lot of people that are like, well, I want gliding in the old world Tyria. It probably wouldn't mean as much. Although I did make a suggestion on the casual forum, not the dirty casuals, but the Guild Wars casuals Facebook group. I made a suggestion that kind of cartoon style, when you're in old world, you don't get to glide. So I thought it'd be funny if you jump off of something, if it pretends to glide for a couple feet, and then you start waving your arms like frantically, and then you just fall to your doom.
That would be epic.
Or you hold up a yikes.
Yeah, a little yikes, something like that, and then you just hurtle to your doom, and then it's just kind of like, you're an old world Tyria. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, those were good moments of then, but I had a whole bunch. Did you guys see the show notes? I wrote
You
paragraphs.
did.
You wrote a whole dissertation. Oh,
Yes, yes.
boom.
You don't get a fist bump,
School
though.
I don't get one for that? Okay. All right. This was my dissertation. Well, so I had a lot of fun. So I did a little bit of solo playing, which we can still keep the conversation open a little bit on how difficult some of this is when you're playing solo, because as I played solo, there was a couple moments where I was like, I am not even able to get to the place I need to go. I had to actually just spawn in a different location because I was dying so much. But I did play through the story. I actually started the story and I played all the way through Verdant Brink. And holy crap, there was this part at the end of Verdant Brink, and I'm not going to spoil it for anybody. I'm not spoiling it for anybody. But there's this part at the end where you do some things, and it's really freaking amazing fun. Kind of, you feel almost Indiana Jones-like in how it's like just an action sequence. Like the whole thing just plays out like the sequence, and everything just keeps happening to you, and you don't even ever have time to rest. It's just like keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. And there's this one part that's not real intuitive. It's not perfectly designed, I'm just going to say. And so you go through this whole part and then you die. And then you go through the whole part and you die. And each time you're dying, you're trying to figure out the next phase. You're kind of like, what do I have to do in this last little bit? And then I finally realized that I could glide. As silly as that sounds, all of the things that led up to it, you were not gliding, and it didn't involve gliding at all. And at the very last step, I was like, I just need to glide. And sure enough, I hit the glide button. I glided right to safety. Everything was great, except for I was almost completely naked. So as your stuff gets damaged, you lose it. I didn't have any shoes. I had no chest piece. The only thing left on me, I had those really cool shoulders I got during the Mortem event. Those were on, and then I was in my underwear. So imagine those big, cool plant shoulders, and then my underwear. That was me, and I was just
in the
like,
Diagnostic Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, there's a specific label for people who do stuff like that. Boom.
Yeah, that was me. And, so last week we touched a little bit about the difficulty level, and you bumped heads with the story. In the end of the story.
Please tell me you didn't. Please tell me you didn't have anything like that.
So no. This is what I'm saying about this. This was really, really difficult, almost to my threshold as far as like I just couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do. That was really the confusion here. But at the end of the thing, it wasn't impossible. I got through it. And I got through it before I raged. It wasn't like I was getting too upset. It was kind of like,
you didn't pull a Militus.
What am I trying to do? What am I trying to do? What am I trying to do? And I'm a quitter. If it gets really crappy, I'll just quit. I'll just be like, I don't need to do the story. I won't even bother with it. But that wasn't how it was. It was just difficult enough. And then when I got through it, of course, I felt amazing because I was like, that was so awesome. And then I listened to one of the other podcasts. I believe it was Relics of War that I listened to this week, and they talked about that exact that's kind of what their podcast was about, was that exact thing. And they had kind of similar comments where people were coming out naked because it was just like, and there's no way to go back. So like when you die, you don't get to go back. You just get reset at the beginning of, or at the next checkpoint. You don't ever get out of it. So you have to finish it. And so that's why everybody's kind of getting out of it naked. And I'm sure the game designers were like, this is super easy. You just glide. But the way it plays out, it screws you up and you don't think about gliding. So that's my only comment. Think about gliding. It'll go a lot easier for you. So now I'm in Ark Basin, and it is really, really hard there. But it's so stinking fun. And there's another, there's like a temple there, which is also where you can get your...
Tess and I went there.
Yeah, isn't that fun? It's like...
I don't even through all that.
It seems so majestic. It's so tall when you get down into it. It's got so many levels. Anyway, so as you're playing through the story takes you to this temple. And there was a really, really fun event, but also... very, very challenging event that takes place in that temple. But I'm encouraging everybody, go and play it. It's really fun. But I had a hard time with that temple one. I got through that as well. Felt great. Same thing, but it's difficult. I'm almost got my ascended.
I have a question about
yes.
Before you end, I have a question about the story. So, and no spoilers, but
I'm trying not to say anything about it.
In the last cast, we were talking about, no hearts being present, right, in Heart of Thorns. And I told you that in Old World Tyria, I enjoyed the hearts because they help tell the story of the people of Tyria and the places and the farms and the caverns and the Skrit and all these different people and races. And I'm still trying to find my foothold in Heart of Thorns when it comes to story. Boom, after having gone through all of Verdant Brink, having completed all the story there, and I know you have run, I've seen you run tons of events. Would you say that the story illuminates or explains why the events are happening?
Yes.
Or are they completely disconnected?
They're not disconnected at all. No. In fact, it's got twists. It's got some plot turns that affect all of the whole thing up to this point. It makes sense in the whole context. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the lore and stuff because remember, the podcast is designed, we want to help some of the newer players like ourselves kind of get on board with this game and getting caught up is the wrong word, but kind of work through some of the early stuff. Well, it took us a while to actually kind of catch hold with it and kind of understand it. And the lore is kind of a part of that. So we'll talk a little bit about this, but Military, you're going to love it. Let me just put it that way. And when you get to the temple, you're just like, this is a really cool and fantastic plot line and a lot of fun, but you haven't done the story there. Did you do the story?
I haven't done the story. No, I've just been playing with events, but I have not.
Nothing in that zone really helps you understand it until you play that. But when you play the story, you'll just be like, oh, and now all of a sudden, this is what's cool. Once I played that little bit even, all of the events in that area in Ark Basin make sense. I understand why all of that stuff is happening in that zone. So it's great. You got to do it. Then I ran with Tess there. We went and did some stuff on Sunday, and I was way into a different zone where she couldn't see me, so I helped her run to that cool part, which was kind of fun. And we fought a big bug. It's the only way I can describe it. And how many times did I die during that event?
Well, we simply did not have enough people. Right. We didn't have as many people as we should have had for that event. But well, both of us were just dead every 5 seconds, but Boomy seemed to take the brunt of it. Like he would get rezzed, and it seemed like every single time he would get rezzed, he would res him right into an AoE.
There were so many little AoEs all over the ground, and then I would get rezzed, and I would do my dodge right out of the AoE, so I'd spring back up, and I'd dodge right into another one and die. And I was like, oh, and I was the only one that seemed to do it a lot, so I'm sure it's just skill. But anyway, it was a lot of fun.
A question about that as well. Okay, so Tess brought this up on the last cast, and I have a question about it. Yeah. After having gone through Verdant Brink, completed the story, having completed most of the events, do you see yourself going back there, Boom, to play?
Yes, because there's
Why?
There's about 3 events that I had so much fun doing. I want to do again and again and again.
I'd love to do it again. And I have 100% completion in Verdant Brink. So I've gotten everything that there is to get through there. And I wouldn't mind running through and doing it again. I really enjoyed because actually there are some bosses up in the canopy that I haven't gone after. I haven't gone after the one that Boom was talking about with the mold. I've seen him, but I haven't attacked the one that's up in with that turns the platform into fire, and
Right.
I haven't attacked that
We
one.
went up
I'd like
there
to
and then
go
we
now.
stopped. So that was what we went to yesterday.
Yeah.
We got up to that area, and then you, Militus, you fell asleep, I think, at your keyboard right about the
Probably.
time. It was right when we were going to actually do that exact event. The one that I told you about where the entire ground turns molten, so you can't be on it, so you have to actually
Are you talking about
use
the
your
moment when I
updrafts.
woke up and I was dead?
Yes. That was another time. That was another moment where we were like, why is Militus dead? And then you were like, I fell asleep for a couple minutes. But that's just a lesson
It
for all
sucks
you
being in the
youngsters.
Eastern time zone when
Yes.
you guys are in the mountain.
Eastern time zone and, age has
Okay,
a little something to do
let
with
me
it.
explain the reason why I asked the question.
Yes.
Okay.
Is
I'm ready.
I'm worried that like Tess said that they need to do some tuning. I'm worried in a month or two when most of us, even newer players, I think all the skilled players, the EU players, like we have Jay's Vicky and chat with us right now. I mean, I
Yes,
think a lot
yes.
of these players have been playing for a while.
Yeah, way longer than we have.
They're way out ahead of
Right,
us,
right.
right? So I mean, they're in probably the fourth zone
I mean,
of Maguma.
even people who, I mean, because technically we were all 80 when Hot dropped, and they're already I'm only mastery level like 11.
Right.
And
right.
when I was lined up, when I was queuing up for the raid yesterday, just to see what was going on, there were people with like 106
Shut up.
mastery
Are you
levels.
serious?
I'm not even joking. And that was the norm. Most people were like in the upper 70s to
Okay.
100. And
Trivia
I'm like,
question.
how the hell
Do you know how many you can
have
get?
this many?
Do you know how
What?
many you
No.
can get? Trivia question.
No.
There's 146.
Mastery points.
Yes.
Total. Is that old world and hots or
No,
just
that's
hots?
the hots. That's just the hot zones. So you can get 146. So I'm at 11. So I'm really close.
I am
You're at
11 too.
11.
That's funny. We're all at 11. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
It's
but
kind
I
of where you end up.
mostly
I've been
precursor old world stuff.
I'm trying to, because I'm having so much fun gliding, I'm leveling that entire thing. I'm not doing it the way you're supposed to, where you're supposed to kind of level all the level 1 things, and then that way you have them for the zones, and then kind of level, the next tier and the next tier. But I'm leveling all the gliding because I just want to glide indefinitely.
Errata. You're wrong. It is now with the raid. It's 163.
God, just like that. Just like that.
Thank you, just
163.
Vicky.
Just Vicky.
Just Vicky.
Got us going. Thank you in the chat. Well, anyway, so yes. So here's my thing. When I got on with you guys last night and we were playing and the raiding had kind of begun and I was in the raid zone and there's this cool new little boss thing with these 2 badass frogs up on the top of the tree there you got to kill, that for whatever reason I was the only person up there trying to kill them. Well, when you went around to some of these other things, I was looking around and I was like, where'd all the people go? And it was a little weird because I was wondering if they're all raiding or if they're just in different zones, but I was doing some stuff like
Raiding.
even when we went up to that top up there on top of the mountain, I was looking up there's this cool event going on and I was the only person standing there ready to tackle the event, and I was like, oh crap, because
To get your ass kicked.
these events and so we don't
When
have
they
the
spawn
hearts
on you, man, it's bad.
Yeah.
You got to admit, and that's where I'm a little bit worried.
Right,
When they spawn right on top of you, boom, it's like instant death.
and we don't have
Run.
we don't
And
have
run.
we don't have the hearts, as you brought up last week. So without the hearts, I don't have a lot of single player content to do. It's all multiplayer, and if I can't run around in that zone without a group or a pack of buddies, I don't know what's going to happen there. It's a little weird, but I know they can keep it alive because they do that with events. So they'll just pop some event over there and everybody will
Hopefully
want to
they
be able to
tune it down.
Yeah.
Hopefully they tune it down a lot.
They're going to have to
because
do something.
they're not going to have that. Even though Guild Wars 2 does a fantastic job, better than any other MMO I've ever played at getting players back to earlier zones. I mean, hell, today I'm over in Shaymore playing. I mean, I have 11 mastery points. I've been 80 for a long time, but I was just kind of going around doing some heart completion. I don't know that I would go back right now to Verdant Brink if I had it complete by myself. I don't think I would.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
but
that's just
even though now you have updrafts and you can pretty much fly 90% of the time.
Yeah.
well,
Travis does that.
true. I can do that, but here's what happens, right? Those events spawn on waypoints.
Yeah.
Tess,
Oh, you're
and
right.
I can't get to places,
Mhm.
and if there's nobody there to fight off the events, how long did the waypoint stay contested?
Right.
Those things I think add to my reluctance to go back by myself.
Right. Well,
I'll run with you, Miller.
I don't know.
When I'm with you or Boom and multiple
Yeah.
people, I'm having fun. I just get nervous when I'm by myself. That's all.
You know, I will say this: the old Tyria stayed. I mean, there was people in the zones all the time. There was, and there was people running around. There's things happening. So
Not just revenants.
not just
Not like-
revenants. There's
Remember
others.
back in the day
There's
when
other
World of
peeps.
Warcraft would
Yes.
launch, like
yes.
pandas. You'd have
Yes.
pandas everywhere.
It was like a panda
Death
fest.
Knights.
Yeah.
Do you remember the panda starting zone? That was really hilarious. Like the very first at launch, there was like 50,000 little pandas all just running around like this.
Just
It was
training?
great.
I remember when
It
Just
was
it was
rolling,
great.
rolling,
Yeah,
rolling,
rolling everywhere.
rolling.
That was
Yeah.
funny.
Well, those were very good Zen moments. I thought. I thought that was
That is
fantastic.
the most annoying noise.
I love it.
It's the moment of
love it.
Zen, which, by the way, I have a lot of moments of Zen. I want to tell you that I smile so much during this game that it hurts. It makes my face hurt. It's so fun. So I'm still all about it, even though I haven't crafted my ascended weapon yet. I'm trying, but it's taking forever. But I still smile. Even when I go to the
smile
bank.
like, yeah.
Listen, like I told you before, if it was quickly attainable and there wasn't a work towards it, it wouldn't be nearly as satisfying the moment when you do craft that
No,
weapon.
It's crafting in this game is
It's no
hopefully
joke.
they maintain that level of commitment to it because it is something I do enjoy, and I also don't mind working towards something as long as I know
Right.
what the steps involved are, and I do. So it's been really, really fun. Well, we're going to jump in now to our news. It's not as exciting as the Ohm. So we'll just add it in there as well, but it's not as exciting as that, but still it's
It sounds so official.
I know.
feel
It
like-
is
does.
very official. And remember, I'm going to get the voiceover. So we're going to get the Vincent Price
Today,
guy and
Interior.
it's going to be good. It's going to be really good. So obviously the hot topic this week was rating. Tess, you lied to me and told me that you went rating. Tell me about it. Like try to
I went
I want to
rating.
see if you can convince all of
Yeah,
these.
the real rating.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
actually rated.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is what happened.
right.
I live in Denver, and we had a blizzard on Tuesday. And so I had a school, and I'm a teacher. So we had a school day, or we had a snow day. We didn't have to go to school. And so I logged in, and it had just opened. I downloaded the patch, and I get into game, and it sends you that little, that little email, that little mail.
Right. Yeah, we got
And
the mail. Yep.
I was thinking, no way am I gonna do this. But let me go see the entrance. I'm gonna go see the entrance because it's right over there in Verdant Brink. It's not too hard to get to.
Sure.
So I flew over there and I stood in front of the entrance and I'm just like, oh, it looks cool and I wonder what it's like.
Yeah.
And then everyone around me looking for group, looking for group, looking for group, looking for group. And I was like, well, okay, looking for group. And I got into a pug, and it was the pure definition of pug. There was no rhyme or reason to it. We didn't even have a druid. There was nothing. There was nothing. So we ran in there, and we ran through the first set of encounters. We got up to the first boss, so I got to fight the first boss. And we didn't even get to the second phase of the first boss, but we got through it, and it was awesome. It was
But
awesome.
you got through the mini bosses.
We got through the mini bosses. They weren't hard once you figured out what you had to do. So for the first mini bosses, the blue guy, the only thing you have to worry about for all of the bosses, of course, you need to have condition removal on them, and you have to be able to bring down their blue bar,
Right. Right.
their interrupt bar.
Basically interrupts, yeah.
Yeah, with interrupts and whatever. So that was the same for all of them. But other than that, the only other mechanic for the blue guy, you had to stand in this lightning AoE, because if you didn't have 4 people standing in the lightning AoE, it would go off and do a buttload of splash damage. I mean, it would almost one-shot you. So you had to have somebody in there. But once we figured that out, we got him down, no problem. The red guy, we just had to, he has these little orbs. You just kind of have to avoid these little orbs. They just do a little stingy damage, but they will get you.
Right.
And then the green guy had these big red orbs called Seekers that follow you around, and they do a lot of damage.
Right.
And then the Veil Guardian does all of those things. So there's the AoE you have to stand, 4 people have to stand in, or it'll kill, almost wipe your party. And then you have to avoid the little white orbs and the big red orbs that follow you around. So it was really fun. I had a great time. I wish we'd had one more attempt on the boss, because guess what I found out?
What?
I'm so happy. So earlier this week, my number one issue, boys, was what? I was really having a hard time with what?
Dragon Hunter?
With my Dragon Hunter. Because I was really disappointed because I was
good.
trying to create a tank where there was no call for tank.
Militus is
You
a
know?
listener.
What?
Militus is a good listener.
He is a good listener.
Because you'd have been like, blah, 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 Dragon Hunter, and it would have sounded like the Peanuts characters. I would have just heard, wah, 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 wah,
But
wah, wah.
she's got
I'd been
two
like,
reasons for being
I'd been
happy.
like, all right,
I hope she
I'm
covers
there with
both. She's about to be very happy.
Okay.
So-
Tell us.
All right.
So I was really upset because I had a whole bunch of toughness, and I was running not Zerker. I wasn't going your basic Zerker stats and everything.
right.
So I was really bummed at the beginning because I wanted to use a shield, and shield just isn't viable. And I was trying to stuff a round peg in a square hole. And so it just wasn't working. So finally, I said, screw it. I'm just going to have fun. DPS. Dragon Hunter has the best DPS. I'm just going to turn it into DPS.
Hold on. Just stop right there for a second.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a reason to be happy.
Yeah.
Your elite specialization has got the most dips of any class in the game.
And I just had to get over that because
I mean, but don't gloss over that. That's
sorry.
kind of a big deal.
I was trying to create something where nothing was. So I was really upset until I ran this raid and found out that you need a tank. Because
See, I told you. I said I thought when the raids come out, you would see the roles be needed.
It's starting to happen, isn't it?
So I mean, come on.
It's coming.
I'm so
It's
glad.
coming.
You
and
didn't say that.
you know how I found out you need I hit the microphone. Die microphone. The way I found out that you need a microphone, a tank is like I said, I was trying to create a tank where none was needed. So I have mostly soldier stats. So it's a lot of toughness, vitality, and power. So I'm rocking about 2,000 toughness right now.
Right.
I wouldn't even I would just throw my Spear of Justice at the Veil Guardian. It only does like 500 DPS. But the second I even hit that thing, he was on me like white on rice. It didn't matter where I went. It didn't matter if I died. If I died, he just stood on my corpse. I mean, that's to the point. So you do need a tank.
Sounds like you had a crush.
I have a feeling that it is not based on damage. It is based on toughness. Whoever has the most toughness is who he's going to go after. And you have to do a whole bunch of kiting and stuff like that. So really interesting. And
so
what I'm going to do
is important is what you're basically getting at. This is So are you officially ready to just say it's Trinity?
I'm not officially ready to say it's Trinity because the thing that's difficult about saying Trinity is it says that it's traditional tank mechanics, and it is not traditional tank mechanics because they don't have a threat table like most people do where you have abilities that build threat or it's based off of damage. It seems like it's purely based off of toughness.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but aggro is a thing.
Yeah, I mean, it is a thing. So, but the only bad thing is you got to be careful then with your toughness stat, or else you're going to be pulling everything. And there's no way to really drop. Because I tried. The first few times, because I was running my regular longbow, Dragon Hunter stuff, was running DPS, and I was trying to drop threat. And I could not. Nothing I did would get rid of him. So you just got to be careful.
Let me guess. Because of that, what you really needed was the assistance of a good healer.
Yeah, we did not have a druid.
Yeah. So are we going to get into the stage where those two roles are going to be hard to find and everybody's going to need them, and then
I hope so, because then Milla and I are good.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm over here with my
Tess,
glass
like when you're a
canyon.
druid, what about the other healing class? I mean, I play a ranger, and I'm playing it for that very reason so I could heal. But I mean, what about my elementalists? What about the other classes that can sort of heal? Like, do you see
like
a role
off
like where
heal?
you would have a
No,
like would you have
because I think everybody has enough mitigation that everyone is off healing, and then your druid is gonna do main
the tank
heals.
heals?
Yeah,
I see.
is where I'm seeing it. So this is what I'm gonna do because I don't want to go crazy into things. I could go on for hours and hours. What I'm gonna do is I got onto GW2skills.net,
Right.
and I built 2 tanking builds. One is not even technically a tanking build. It is literally the build that I was running when I could not shake this guy. So it has all of my stats as it was.
Right.
Then I have a build that I'm going to post that is the next time that I run this, I'm actually going to go full tank with it. I'm going to adjust. I'm going to go from change out virtue for valor, and I'm actually going to equip a shield. And try some stuff out. So the next time I do it, I'm going to try an actual tanking setup.
What was your overall thoughts
so
though?
I have
It was
two
like,
of them.
what was the cool factor when you got into this? Because I have not even.
It was
stepped foot
just
in
cool
there.
because
What
I
is
was
the cool?
raiding in Guild Wars 2.
I know, but what was the cool? Was it just? I mean, was it just completely awesome inside when you stepped through? Was it a lot like the zones? Did it have
It was
like
a
what
lot like
was
the
it?
zones.
Okay.
It was a lot like
They
the
have a lot of
zones.
trash.
No, there was no trash. There was zero trash. There were
Hmm.
3 of these mini bosses and then the main guy. There wasn't any trash at all. Now, keep in mind, this was the first boss. I don't know what was going on after that. It tells you when you go in that you need gliding, you need updrafts. But I didn't see a need for either yet where I got. I would add for this first boss speed mushrooms.
Oh,
I would maybe I don't have speed mushrooms, but they were placed around, and I definitely could see if you needed to kite that boss.
Right.
If your tank didn't have enough.
You're probably going to need all of those extra
basic
things.
masteries.
You're going to have
Especially
to get
the
the
basic
masteries.
ones.
Yeah. I'm wondering if
So-
you don't need them all by the end boss.
And
Maybe, you know.
the last thing I'm going to say, and then I'm going to get off this because I know it's just me lecturing, and I'm sorry. What I foresee for at least for this first boss as being the best group.
Right.
If I could create a group, what would it be? It would be 2 Zerkers, 2 Dragon Hunters, 1 DPS, 1 tank, 1 Ranger, not a Druid,
Right.
for CC DPS stuff, 1 Elementalist, not a Tempest, for DPS. Oh,
What
wait.
else?
Yeah.
No. You're on it. You're
1
on it. I
Druid.
see where you're going with this.
1 Druid, 2 Reapers, and a Mesmer, not a Chrono, whatever.
Right. Right.
So no Revenant,
Now-
no Warrior, or I guess
The
you
Warrior is the
could,
is
Zerkers
the
could be.
Zerkers.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
She
I would
threw me
say
in
that
there.
if
She
you
let me
wanted a
raid with her
Herald,
this time.
if you wanted a Herald, you could totally throw in a Herald and get rid of a Reaper. If you really wanted to.
Well, that's good news. That means that what you're basically saying is you would love to have a diverse
Yeah.
group of 10 to go in
Yeah.
rather than just saying, hey, Terry, let's take let's take
Let's see.
1 tank, 1 druid, and then
And
8
everybody ranged.
8
Yeah.
8 of the best DPS.
Yeah,
Yeah.
eight range DPS. We're all just going to stand around the side and shoot arrows.
Well, because you need all those CC, man. You need the CC, and you need So that's
And you'll need
There you
some
go.
condition damage and
Condition,
then some
yeah.
power.
yep,
Right.
yep.
And
So-
I'm guessing you would take the necros for the boon stripping.
Yes.
Like to strip boons off bosses.
Mhm. And that's why
you
I
gotta
said 2
have that,
Reapers,
boy.
but
That's like my tip of the week, by the way, is that breaker bar on the bottom, the blue bar. You gotta kill that. So everybody that's in your group with you, when you see that bar there, you've got to just basically tell everybody to throw their interrupt. Like everybody needs to interrupt that guy. Get rid of that breaker bar. Then that boss or whoever you're fighting, all of a sudden you'll start really doing damage to him. But you got to get rid of that thing first. And I've been in a lot of groups where everybody's getting kind of frustrated and they're all going around. I'm just, we're never ever getting that bar gone.
If
By
I'm
the
a
way-
DPS and I go in that situation boom and I see that bar, here's my thought. Both my weapon swapping, both weapons I go to have to have an interrupt.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that I can use it on, basically off cooldown. I can be able
you
to
can
interrupt
get
that
to-
bar. And
They have
and
it
even
where
like when
you
we
do
were running
need-
last night,
Yeah.
I was doing it as a healer. I would flip to my bow out of my ranger, out of my druid. I would flip back to my ranger, and I would use skill 4, which is like a knockback and an interrupt. I would use that a lot to help you guys lower that blue bar.
Yeah.
So even
And-
as a healer,
I think it's really just awesome.
see, Tess, you never play Wildstar, but I
Yeah.
want to make a Wildstar reference here.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So
like
Wildstar had this thing called interrupt armor, and it's very similar to this blue bar.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was it? They call it break armor. I don't. I forget,
that's the term I heard. I don't know if that's what it's called.
Yeah, I
or
mean,
not.
but
That
the
could
only
be
thing I would
unofficial.
say to ArenaNet is, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's still something from Wildstar. But what might make it better is I like the bar, but why not put a number there? Like Wildstar does that. They'll say there's 3 interrupt armor, there's 4 interrupt armor, and so you'll know, hey, we got to have, if it's
4
3
people
interrupt
with
armor,
that.
we have to
Yeah.
have 4 interrupts to get that boss into a state where we can really damage them. It might be beneficial not just to show you the gradual blue bar, but to actually put a number on it
Right,
Yeah.
right.
to show us.
Yeah. Well, and I'll say one more thing about this. It's hard. It's hard. And so I want to go to all of the people who are like, "Oh, Guild Wars. It's easy.
I don't
Well, I
know
want some
anyone.
hard I want some hard content. Like,
Yeah.
bite me, because that crap is hard. That is hard. And just so that I can tell you, we didn't even get that. Of course, we had a crap group, but it was fun. But he has 5 phases. We didn't even get to the second phase, and he enrages after 10 minutes.
You're right. I knew that all the bosses had a range timers. Yeah, I've heard
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, you're
So,
gonna have to know what
there
to
you
do.
go.
You're gonna have to know what to do. There's no doubt about that. This is gonna be really, really hard content, and when they don't consider some of the stuff that I've beat my head against hard, then I'm, that's why I've been a little scared of raiding. But it's nice to know that it was accessible and you got in there and you gave it a try. Even though I think we've got a lot of playing to do before we get to raids, which is kind of interesting that raids released so quick. So one of the things about Guild Wars 2 is they keep it. There's always something to do, to the point where
Yes.
sometimes I'm like, whoa there, which is really weird because in other games, I'll be sitting there for a year or 2 years at a time saying,
any names.
where's the beef, right?
One
And
year
so-
from now.
Yeah, right. So you're sitting there and you're waiting for content to come out. Nothing rolls out. And now I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, I'm through Verdant Brink. And then there's the raid. And I'm like, okay, so that would be something for me to do. But I've got all these other events. Like I have hundreds of hours of gameplay that it's going to take me months before I'm really feeling like, okay, I'm probably raid ready. Like it's going to take me some time. And then
And that makes you feel good about paying that sub, right?
for sure, yeah, that
Oh,
no, we
wait,
don't
that's
have a
right.
sub.
You don't
Oh.
pay a
Oh,
sub.
No, we just get great stuff
I'm
all the
sorry.
time. And then on
I
top
still
of
pay a
that,
sub. I still every month I buy about
Yes,
a
they
sub's
get-
worth of stuff.
don't worry, Guild Wars 2 is
Maybe
not
I bought
dying for
slightly
me,
more
that's for
than
sure.
that.
Yes, I have I think I went from a $15 sub to a, $30 a month
40.
habit. Yeah. So
What? That's an outfit. I need that outfit.
yeah.
That's my impression.
We're going
of
to talk
Boom
about that
every
next outfit,
single
by the way,
time.
that I'm going to buy right after we get done with this. But no, then they drop that, and then you know what's happening on the 15th of December is now we have the holiday stuff. And so I'm sitting here and I'm like going, so by the time I get everything done, now I'm rolling right into holiday. I'm going to want to do all of that stuff. So it's crazy how fast all this stuff comes. And I just know that by the time the holiday thing is over, there's going to be another thing coming just around the corner. So there is so much stuff
Well, I'm
to
sure
do.
there's going to be the next
You
win.
can't do it all. Yeah, there's going to be wings.
No.
There's going to be all this
I mean,
stuff. It's going to be crazy.
Okay, I've heard that they're going to. This wing is going to carry us over until 2016 tests,
Yeah,
and then the next is there 4 total wings, right? I
I'm
believe
not
so.
sure.
I think there are 4 wings.
Okay.
And so what would happen is like I'm guessing probably every 2 months, maybe ish. Don't know. I haven't seen an exact schedule. They would open a new wing.
Right.
So basically, you would have progression through the content over
Right.
8-10 months, which I like instead
I
of
do too.
opening up everything at once and letting people burn through the content.
Well, yeah, because what you end up doing is you end up getting a very small percentage, by the way, of people that burn through it really fast, and those people are, they're done with it, and then they're like, I want, more. Well, they just gave you all the content they built right away, and you've already done all of it, and so yeah, you have to kind of time it, but it's not even just about that one thing that they release, like the raids. There's all this other stuff that goes on around the raids. So they'll make all the content in all the different zones really relevant for a time through some creative something. Some event breaks out, something happens, some cool thing is going on. They'll probably get us back into old world Tyria for a huge thing that's going to happen in a level 1 zone for, new people can come on and fight huge bosses and do cool things like that. So it's crazy and it's a lot of fun. And, I'm just having a blast, going through this. And so raiding is something I'm now looking forward to, but I understand as well that I feel like I'm going to have, well, for sure, I got to at least get all my masteries unlocked. And then I'm going to have to get, I got to get some stuff done because I don't have Berserker yet. And I'm like 25 points away from
I finished
skill
my
points.
Dragon
I just
Hunter.
need 25.
Oh,
more.
and tell Test. You gotta break it down for Boom. Now, what happens when you finish?
You get an item. You get some item. I got like an arm piece.
That's sweet.
You got a sweet helm, I thought.
No, I got a glove.
Glove. Okay, but it was like a very nice piece.
Yeah,
it was a high level exotic piece.
Yeah, it was cool.
Speaking of things that you can buy right now, did you see the plasma weapons?
Can we call this the Militus broke ass segment?
Yeah. So here's the thing.
Since I'm gonna be broke.
So I made the joke
week that we do this.
Yeah, I made the joke at the start of the show where I was like, it's definitely not a lightsaber. Right? But if you look at it, it's 110% paying a respect, a tribute to
So is it
Star
like a
Wars.
greatsword?
No, it's multiple weapons.
Yes, there's multiple weapons. So there's all the different weapons, and you can get, but they're all, so they have two ends, and they open and there's plasma in the middle, and then when they close, the plasma closes, and so
Does it make a noise that's
I don't
similar
know, but I'm going to, when I get off of this, I'm going to buy it because I just think it's so stinking cool. They have an axe, they've got the dagger, they've got the great sword looks great sword looks so cool. Why is it that the great sword's always the coolest looking thing?
Because they're the best.
The great sword is
coolest.
I'm like wondering, is there like in ArenaNet, is there just like a department and then there's like a guy and he's just like the great sword guy? And he sits at his desk.
He's called the boss.
Yeah. And he's got like, he's got like a nice Keurig on his desk and he's just pumping out the hits. He looks at everybody else's stuff and goes, that's really cool. And then he just pulls out his greatsword and everybody's like, oh man, because they're so awesome. So anyway, there's the greatsword, the plasma hammer. They've got a plasma longbow, which is really cool too. Actually, it's one of the cooler bows that I've seen. The plasma pistol, the rifle, they've got it all. Basically, the shield looks really cool.
Wait. I'm sorry. There's like plasma projectiles?
I didn't see the projectile.
No, the projectiles are
the pistol
typical,
actually has the
plasma,
the barrel of the pistol.
The architecture of the weapon.
Oh,
the structure of the
okay.
weapon.
That's a little less creepy.
I don't know.
Like,
if you shoot
imagine
lasers,
a
that'd be
lightsaber
awesome.
longbow.
Yeah, right.
No, but I can imagine that. I can't imagine a gun.
Well, it's right there. They have the war horn. The torch looks really cool because it's got a cool glowy color to it. The sword is probably one of the best as well, but that's the one that's paying the most tribute to it. But I just thought that was kind of cool. I think some people might criticize them a little bit for that, but I actually see that and I'm like, it's really done tastefully and it's not done to be like, we have lightsabers too. It's really done to be like, a tribute. You can see the tribute.
Have a lightsaber.
You can feel it. It's really cool. It's really cool.
Well, it's done to say,
definitely
look,
become Yeah.
We're nerds. We love fantasy. But we also
Exactly.
love Star Wars.
Right.
And we want to reach out to our nerd brethren and say
Yes.
we are super excited about
Don't
this
get me
movie
started
coming
Because
on
we've
that.
got a
Don't get me
super
started
fun
on that.
event coming out soon, and we're going to be
Because
loving it. Yes.
I will absolutely 100% go on for hours about how Star Wars is fantasy and not science fiction. So
Absolutely.
Okay, don't mean to get you riled up about that, but let me say this. It wouldn't shock me, and this is some people are getting mad when I say this. It wouldn't shock me that Guild Wars 2 pulls off a better in-game event masking or kind of giving homage or paying respect to Star Wars than actual SWTOR.
I won't be.
It would
surprised
not
either.
shock me if they put out an event that were like, oh, this is so kick-ass, that people in the SWTOR community are like, okay, I wish we had something like that.
I wish we had those cool weapons that they have in
Right.
Guild Wars 2, which actually are just super, super duper phenomenal. Well, I want to do one last thing before we go for the night. I want to real quick give out some shout outs.
Shout out!
So we got a couple shout outs. So one of the shout outs was we did some fractals, and I mentioned that we did some fractals on the casual Guild Wars players Facebook. And one of the guys, they just call him PC, which I thought was funny because our guild is called PC. So I don't understand why he doesn't just join our guild. Because then it would say PC and be sweet. But he has been helping me a little bit know about something, the legendary backpack. So he was like, you got to make sure you go in, when you go into the fractal, you got to go talk to a guy, you got to get set up, and you got to do the stuff you need to do to start working towards your legendary backpack. So I've got the link to that. It'll be in the show notes if anybody wants to know how to do that. But super thankful to PC. He is in his AoE guild, and it's on Ferguson's Crossings. So if you want to go play with PC, go there and hang out with him. He's really cool. Very, very helpful. It was awesome. Do you guys have any shout outs?
Go ahead, Milla.
I have a shout out to a person who I don't know their name, but
Yes, that
to
was
the
cool.
person that messaged me today in game. Big shout out to you. Thanks for doing that. Please message me again so I can actually have time to write down your name. And secondly, I got a huge shout out to, again, Guild Wars reporter, and to specifically Celeste.
Oh,
I
that's
failed
cool.
to mention her name. I mentioned Alona. There's two podcasters that run that. Alona and Celeste are really both sweet, great people. And actually, Celeste followed our Twitter account this
Oh,
week.
that was nice.
So you
of her.
can find
That was
her at
cool.
Saluki is her Twitter
Yeah.
handle, but she's
You gotta
really awesome,
listen.
and I love their podcast.
Yeah,
So that's
every
my shout
week,
out.
and here's the thing. So when it comes to podcasts, there's so many days and hours in the day that you're like at work or you're driving in your car, and you need good podcasts to fill that time, so you're not just bored out of your mind. And so go and download their podcast, because I promise you will not be disappointed. It's great information. They know so much more than we do. Like, I wish we do just a little fraction of what they do, but it's really, really fun to listen to them, and go sign up on all their stuff and follow them and subscribe and do all of that.
Hey, and shout out to them, Boom, because they gave us some love on their
that was
Twitter,
nice of them.
Twitter handle. They welcomed us
Oh,
with
that's
open
cool.
arms to the Guild Wars 2
That's
community.
cool.
So thank
That's
you.
cool. Well, we appreciate it with all of them. And that's our experience, by the way, with all of the Guild Wars 2 peeps. They're all very, very kind.
Yes.
And so we appreciate that. I also have in the show notes, I've got a picture of a player that somebody posted who's actually looks just like Ronald McDonald. Did you guys see that?
Yes,
He looks
I did.
just like
Isn't
Ronald
that
McDonald.
awesome?
So I've seen two really cool outfits. I've seen Ronald McDonald, and I've seen another one that looks just like the Hulk. Exactly. So freaking cool. Anyway, so I just thought that was really cool. So whoever you are, Ronald McDonald, I think that's pretty awesome, and I'm all about it. I think that's groovy. Tess, how about
Well,
you? Shout outs.
I just want to give a pre-shout out to anybody who wants to check out these builds that I was talking about today, who wants to help me theory craft my Guardian tank. Would love some input on that, and I'll post those in show notes for you too, and on our Facebook.
That's very, very good. Well, we will not be live next week because it is Thanksgiving, and I will actually be in a car driving on that
To see
day.
me.
to see you. I will. I'll be right there. I'm going to see Tess. We'll be in person. So we won't do a live episode, but we are going to have an episode. So I just want you to know. And it's going to be really cool because we're going to put on our futuristic glasses and we're going to see how much we get right. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. So there will be an episode next week, but it will not be live. So if you come to the site, it won't be there. The other thing I want to remind you too, please make sure you give us any love on iTunes or Stitcher, because it helps them understand that it helps us move up the rankings, basically. So there's a bunch of podcasts.
And it shows them that this is something you want to hear stuff about Guild Wars.
So there's a bunch of podcasts out there that are like from 3 years ago, and they're old and they're kind of dying off, but they're still at the top, and it's because they have all of these reviews and things that kind of bump them up to the top. But sometimes it's hard to find new shows because you got to filter through all the old ones. So please give us some reviews on there. That would help us out, and we will read them on the air, of course.
Yeah, give you some shout outs. If you
We'll
give
read
for
anything
the 5
on there.
stars.
If you call
the
us
1
on
stars, we're not going to give shout outs. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, Boom.
Well, if you
gotta love us to give the shout outs.
If you call area code 702-625-LEET 1337 LEET.
702.
I want to hear from Haystack.
We'll just play it on the air. Yeah.
Get in gear, call us, leave us a message.
Exactly. Well, on that note, everybody, we are out. Thank you so much for listening to the Precursor Podcast.
Peace.
Miller, you're not dancing with me.